This is Jonathan Agioff here for Pro Boxing Fans. Delighted to be joined by the new English heavyweight champion, Fabio Wardley. How does that sound?
That sounds quite good, doesn't it? It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Obviously, fresh off your win last week against Simon Vallily, third round stoppage. Been a few days since. Have you had time, I'm sure, to watch it back and reflect on it?
Yeah, I've watched it back a couple of times. I was happy with it. Really happy with the performance. Really happy with just how it all went. Really, I did pretty much everything I said I was going to do. When I got back to the corner at the end of the second round, I even called it. I said, "Look, this is it. I know what I'm doing now. I know where the gaps are, and I had to find them, and I went for it."
I was going to say, obviously, the first sort of two rounds, it felt like you were both sort of feeling each other out. Simon was putting the pressure on, and then sort of as soon as that left hook landed, you went in for the finish. Did it go sort of exactly how you anticipated?
Yeah. To be fair, I went back to the corner, and at the end of the second, I said to my team, I said, "Look, there's two things open. There's a straight right open, if I throw it quick enough on its own, and there's a left hook open, and they're the two gaps that I saw quite openly." So to be fair, I didn't plan it to be the kind of catch counter left hook that it was. I was planning to do a feint in the jab and then lead with a left hook and then follow the right hand from there. But it just came how it came. But yeah, I was happy with it. Like I said, it was a good performance.
Just going back to sort of before the fight started, the key question I've got for you is the tash going to be growing?
Never. I tell you what, Simon got one thing right. Yeah, it was that I can't grow one of those on my own. So he's fine with it. He can have that one. He can have that tash over me.
How did you find the whole build-up? There was a bit more needle than I think most people expected.
Yeah, and it was good. It was nice. It was quite fun to be in the middle of that and have a bit of that myself and be able to like give that back and forth and that bit of kind of fire to build the fight a bit. It was enjoyable. So yeah, I liked it. I quite enjoyed it. To me, it was good fun. Like same with the tash thing. The tash thing wasn't there to genuinely piss him off. It was there to just be funny. Like I was there to just make a joke and just like if anything, I'm the one that looks an idiot because I'm the one wearing a fake tash. So if anything, I'm the one that should be laughed at. But it was just there to be funny. But it just turned out to work a lot better and get him riled up.
That sort of experience, as you say, sort of having an opponent which sort of you had a bit of a back and forth with, as well as what happened in the ring. I guess it was a great sort of learning experience in both senses.
Yeah, of course. It's all good experience for when there's because there's always going to be some mouthy opponents down the line, and there's always going to be a good. From now on, I'm always going to have good experienced fighters that I'm going up against. So that's always going to be the step I'm on now. So it's nice to get that experience in relatively early.
How did you find sort of being in the bubble with sort of the different fighters, trainers? Was there anyone you particularly got to know well during sort of the week?
No, not massive. Like the first day or two was a bit odd. It was like you're there, you're finding your feet, you're figuring out what the rules are, what you can do, what you can't do, where you can go, blah blah blah. But yeah, there was a few people which I got to spend a bit more time with and just hang about with. Like Dave Coldwell was someone I spent a bit more time with, and just we were doing a few little shows and things together, and we saw each other a lot, and we said hello, and we built kind of a good little relationship there. And then he said well done after the fight and stuff. So there was a few different people that you just, because you're so condensed and on top of each other, that you just get to be around people more, talk to different people, just spend some time with people. Because usually on fight week, all you do is you go to the event, whatever that may be, whether that's the media, the workout, the press, the weigh-in. You go to the event, you do your bit, and you go home, or you go back to the hotel, or you go back to wherever. You're not all condensed in this small bubble where you're always crossing each other's paths, or you're always next to each other, or whatever. So yeah, it was good, to be fair, because it was nice to be around people for a longer period of time to build those kind of normal, just casual relationships with people.
So how did it work in terms of during the day? I know you were sort of you had certain gym slots where you're allowed to go once a day and things, but What happened when you weren't sort of in the gym? Was it were there other things to do?
No, not really.
Really?
No, not really. Like my usual day, I'd wake up, I'd order all the food as room service. So I'd order my breakfast to my room. I'd eat that. I'd then chill for a little bit. Then I'd have my gym slot at about 2 p.m. Go do just some very light cardio and some other bits I've been working through that were part of my program. Then go back. Usually on whatever day I had some sort of requirement, so I'd have to do the media, I'd have to do the photos and all that, or I'd have to do the press conference, the weigh and whatever. So there were little bits going on to break up your day, but from about like 3 p.m., 4 p.m. onwards, there's nothing left for you to do other than whatever you want to do. So I was just chilling in my room, watching a bit of Netflix and that. And then I'd go sit outside in the garden and just talk to people and just chill, really. It was nice. To be fair, it was quite a nice, relaxing time.
I heard the food wasn't the best. Is that right?
I'll be honest, on the standard of hotel food, it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. But obviously, when I'm getting ready for a fight, it's not ideal to have burger and chips on the menu or pizza on the menu or whatever it is. So yeah, it wasn't ideal for the situation that I was in, but the food wasn't particularly bad. It was all right.
So how did it work? Like after the fight, did you stay for sort of the main event, or were you sort of rushed back to the hotel? Or did you go home?
Yeah, once your fight is done, you have to go. You're not allowed to stay. You've got to get changed, and they get you on the bus and they get you back to the bubble. So yeah, it was a bit of a shame because I got to watch a bit. The only thing I got to see really was a few rounds of Jordan Gill's fight. By the time Dalton was on, I was getting ready for mine, and then once I had mine, I didn't get to see the other two fights because I had to go back. So I had to watch them on replay the next day.
How did you find sort of fighting with no fans? Did it ever cross your mind? Was it weird with the ring walks?
Weirdly, no. Like it didn't even play into my mind at all. I didn't even really notice it. Like there was no one there. You notice that, like, once you're in the ring, you can hear the punches and everything sounds so much clearer and crisper. And don't get me wrong, it is quiet and there is some eerie feeling to it, but it didn't really like do anything to me at all because I've fought very early on big cards and things like that when there's been no one there. So I'm quite used to that almost silence in the arena while you're trying to fight or while you're trying to get things done and blah blah blah. So yeah, it was quite comfortable for me. Really, it didn't faze me at all. It was quite normal.
Could you hear like Simon's corner or the commentators or any other sounds which you probably wouldn't hear if there was a massive crowd?
You could hear the Sky commentators so clearly. It was unreal. That was the thing, and I think that's something that a lot of coaches and boxers were almost getting a bit annoyed at because, like, depending on what the commentators say, the boxers can hear that. And if, say, the commentator's saying, oh, so-and-so's winning the round very clearly here, then that plays on both boxers' heads, thinking, oh, cool, I'm winning here, or the other's thinking, oh, I'm losing here, I need to turn it up. So that's quite an interesting dynamic, not something that played into my fight at all, not something I could just hear off comments of like, oh, that was a good shot, or Wardley did this, Vallily did this, blah, blah, blah. But there was nothing that really played onto my fight too much.
Did you sort of not enjoy that, but did that were you okay with that, or was it sort of off-putting? Did it spur you on, or did it not even?
No, like it was just it was a
weird.
little half second in my head where I just went, oh, okay, cool, like, and then just cracked on with fighting and whatever I was doing. Like, it's just the little things you just notice that you just hear out of the corner of your ear when you're going through them or doing whatever you're doing in the ring. But nothing really played on it too much. It didn't affect me in any way.
Obviously, after the fight, there was talk about possibly going on Dillian Whyte's undercard, August 22nd. Is that likely? Seems like there's 5 fights on the bill. Or is there any chance?
There's still a possibility. Yeah, it's something we're talking about. It just has to make sense. That's the only thing. It just has to make sense in terms of the opponent for me, and what kind of we want on our side from it, and how that's going to work. And if it does, then I'm game for it. I'm down to do it. Like I said I'll do it. I've got no problem with that whatsoever. It just needs to make sense. I'm not doing it just for the sake of doing it. Like, if it's the right fight, the right opponent, which will get me that next level of credibility, then yeah, cool. But I'm not just going to fight anybody.
So when do you need to know ideally? Have any confirmation? I mean, there's 2 weeks left till that fight.
Today, a week ago.
Yeah.
But like it is what it is. It comes when it comes, and all my job is to stay ready, stay in the gym, stay fit. Like I just keep going to the gym, keep training, keep ticking over. I'm fit. I'm already there, so I just need to maintain. That's all I need to do. So as long as I do that, and if the call comes, great. If it doesn't come, no worries, no biggie.
Even if you don't fight August 22nd, I know Dillian mentioned sort of possible Nick Webb fight. You've mentioned the past Dave Allen. Are these possible names for August 22nd and also beyond August 22nd if you don't fight then?
I think it depends on them really, but Nick's probably more viable for the 22nd. I don't think Dave is a 22nd option just because he views himself as a much bigger fighter, which to be fair, he probably is. He's got the backing wise anyways. He's been in those bigger fights. He's got the more kind of awareness around him. So the fight between me and Dave would almost be a headline of a show or like a co-main event of a big show or something like that. And I think Dave is looking to fight for some titles or something. I don't think he wants the English. I think he's more looking towards the British or something like that. So yeah, it's just kind of how things pan out and how the landscape goes really, because if that is a thing, and it depends on what happens with Joyce and Dubois and what they do with the British title and stuff, and then maybe me and Dave could fight for that late this year or early next year, however it goes. So yeah, I think that's how things go, but I don't think Dave would be a good option for the 22nd.
Well, I guess you're in a great position now, because if people didn't know who you were before last week, they definitely know who you are. And now with the English title, you've got something that they'll want to fight you for. So you'll be a wanted man now in the division. Yeah,
definitely. And I think that was a problem I was having before when we was on the bit of the come up, that it was difficult to find opponents because it was high risk, little reward fighting me, because there was nothing really you got from it. If you lost to me, then you just lost to like a 5, 6, 7-0 novice kind of thing guy. And if you beat me, then so what? You beat a 5, 6, 7-0 novice. So like it was a difficult point, but now I'm a bit more reputable. I've got a belt and things, so there's more on the line. There's more in terms of persuasion to use it with these people for them to fight me.
Yeah, definitely. Last one, Fabio, because I know you've got other things to do. Obviously, big news this week announced that Frank Warren looking to speak to Eddie Hearn for a Matchroom versus Queensbury sort of head-to-head battle. As sort of a fighter, do you guys even think about sort of the politics of boxing? You know, when you're looking at possible opponents, you as a Matchroom fighter, do you think, I'm not sure because he's with Queensbury? Does that even cross your mind?
No, I'm also probably not for me, because technically I'm not signed to Matchroom in any way. The only like contract or signing I have is I'm signed to Dillian Whyte. That's it. That's my only attachment. I've signed to him as my manager. So if I wanted to fight on a Grimsby show, I could. There's nothing stopping me. And if I wanted to fight a Grimsby fighter, I could. If I want to fight in America, I could. But obviously, I have a great relationship and understanding with Matchroom. So I think I would respectfully still take them into consideration if I was ever to do anything like that. Because one, I appreciate the opportunities they gave me. They didn't have to. So I'm not just going to immediately like jump over to someone else or kind of completely disregard them. But those fights that Frank kind of proposed and put forward and stuff were quite good. Some of them were good. Some of them were a bit just for the show, just for the poster to look good kind of thing. But some of them were real, genuine, good fights, which I think a lot of people would want to see. And Frank and Eddie speaking and getting on good terms and just working some stuff out is only good for boxing as a whole. So there's nothing wrong with it at all. Even if that card that he put out none of them fights never come to fruition, that doesn't matter. As long as that's this kind of stepping stone for them to build a relationship together and actually realise that we should probably work together here, it'd be in our both best interest. That's just good for British boxing as a whole.
Obviously, Dillian was mentioned in terms of fighting Daniel Dubois, which I'm guessing he's not too interested in at the moment. But Also, have you had a chance to speak to Dillian in terms of sort of your win last week?
Yeah. I spoke to him the day after the fight. I spoke to him the day after. I think I spoke to him yesterday as well. So we spoke a lot.
And I assume he was very pleased that you picked up the English title.
Yeah, he was pleased with the performance. He was proud of me. So that's good. That was all I needed from him, was to hear from him that I've made him proud, I've impressed him, and I've started the process of kind of just giving back to him a bit for everything that he's done for me, and just giving him them little tick offs to say, look, like, thank you for putting your faith in me. This is what I can give you, and this is just the start. We're going to keep going. We'll keep pushing forward.
Great stuff. Well, Fabio, I appreciate you coming on, giving us the time, and congratulations again on becoming English champion.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Cheers. We'll catch up soon.
Definitely, mate. Catch you soon.